What's up, gents? DirtBag Gaming here, the channel for casual raiders. This is part 4 of a 4-part series going over a guide on HP type champions, which is honestly probably one of my favorite champions to use in this game lately. A lot of the new champions coming out, they happen to be HP. I never really focused on HP when I started. I think my first HP champion was Hakorn Smashlord, and he is amazing in PvP, honestly. But then a lot of champions that I started focusing on, we got Hakorn, we got Samar, we got Mortar Macabre, Lugan, who else? Like, so many of these champions are HP type champions. DirtBag, who we started using in Doom Tower 120 hard. But today is we're going to do a full guide. Again, this is part 4 of a 4-part series on the best HP gear that you're going to be focusing on and leveling up and kind of putting on your champions that are HP type champions. There's just so many good HP type champions in this game that once you get them, it's so easy to gear them because really there's no other debuff that is going to reduce your HP. So it kind of makes it easier to gear them. So I guess let's get into it. So we started off all the other videos kind of the same way, where we go down from the top of the list and we go over what gear set you're going to be looking for, and what ones are going to be best to put on your HP type champions. Now, a lot of my HP type champions I'm using in Arena, Faction Wars, Doom Tower. They're very, very good in Faction Wars. And why is HP so important is because when somebody has a lot of HP in the game, they're not really targeted by the AI, even in PvP. So if you're building a full army, like a full team of HP champions, they're all going to have 80+ thousand HP. So even if like your lowest one targeted has 80,000 HP, he's not going to get most of the time one-shotted, as long as you have, you know, decent defense and speed and all that fun stuff. So when we start from the top down, now HP obviously is going to be one of the best ones to do it. Now when you look at these percentages, it's 15% of their base HP. So that's the biggest thing, is like when you're looking at HP type champions, just look at their base HP. This is an HP type champion who only has 21,000 HP, which I don't understand. When you have somebody like him who has 23,000 HP. Lugan, 22,000 HP. Hakorn Smashlord has 23,700 HP. I don't know if I have anybody else up here that is HP. He should, but he's not. He's defense, but he's got so much HP. There's Miscreated Monster, who's one of the best ones. HP type champion to almost 23,000. So that's basically what the percentage is scaling off of. So obviously this will be a good one for HP type champion. These are kind of like newer ones. If you're newer to the game, you're going to be using these mainly just because they're easier to get, and you're going to be getting them while farming the campaign. So HP, attack, I would really skip over. They don't have any benefit most of the time with attack. There are some HP type champions that have their skills based off attack, which again, I don't understand completely why that is, but you're not really building them based off of that. You're really building them based off of like, where's Gem Curse? So Gem Curse has HP damage, and HP damage. That's kind of what you're really looking for. So his damage scales off of his HP, not his attack. Again, some champions have attack, like this guy, attack. This one's straight HP. So the one that we really care about, the Peril, is all HP. So you want his HP to be pretty high, and his attack is kind of like, it's not really what you're focusing on. So getting back to the artifacts, HP again is a good one to focus on. Attack, not so much. Defense, not really needed unless you're doing it for the clan boss. But most of the time, you're not really going to be focusing on the defense. Defense, you do want to kind of like scale with HP when you're talking about like PvE aspect. Speed is always very good. If you always need speed as a substat, definitely good. It's only a 2-piece set, but you get that extra speed. Crit rate, so a lot of my champions now, again, I'm building more for like PvP, stuff like that, like Mortar Macabre. I want him to get as much crit rate as possible. So if you need that 2-piece set for the crit rate, this isn't bad for a damage dealing HP type champion. When you're talking about like a champion like Lugan wants more of like control effects. So he puts an ally protect, so he wants as much HP as possible. This one is block damage, and then he heals based off his damage. So if you want somebody to like him to do damage, then you can focus on damage. Most of the time, if you're going to use him for Faction Wars, you just want him to have as much HP as possible to sustain, as well as some accuracy for this thing right here. But Mortar Macabre, you definitely want crit rate, crit damage, HP, all the fun stuff. Same with Gem Curse. Gem Curse doesn't really do anything for you besides PvP. and he does hit pretty hard as long as you have the crit rate and crit damage for it. All right, so that's going over the crit rate set. Now, crit damage, again, same thing. Crit damage is a very good set for a damage dealer. So crit damage doesn't do anything for you unless you have 100% crit rate. So if you're not getting 100% crit rate, you don't really want to focus on the crit damage set. If you're close, let's say you're at like 80, 90, 95%, then yeah, you can focus on it. But again, it's your discretion, because if you don't crit damage literally means nothing. So accuracy, another good set for champions like that. Samar has a ability that steals buffs, so having a little bit of accuracy on him will be able to steal buffs from the enemy team, and if you build him with damage, he's able to steal and do damage at the same exact time. So accuracy, again, could be a good set for HP type champions. Resist, I love resist lately in my PvP teams, especially my resistance teams. That's kind of all I live by. Is just as much resistance as possible. I'm trying to get to the platinum arena, and they have like over 700 resistance, which is ridiculous. So we're getting up there, right? Heal, this is good for any clan boss teams. Now, a great champion for a clan boss team would be DirtBag. So DirtBag is a really good lead clan boss champion. He also has an A1 decreased attack, which is made for the clan boss. He also puts up ally protect and decreased defense, and he puts a continuous heal on people that take less than 20% of the max HP. So very, very good clan boss champion. So lifesteal would be a great example of what to put on him, trying to get your clan boss team to survive a little bit longer. Because as he does damage, he's going to heal back. If he has a crap ton of HP, he's going to heal back for a lot. All right. Damage increase as HP decrease. This one I haven't tested out, but you notice I don't have a lot of pieces for this. And I think the reason why is because, again, I haven't tested it out, so I don't know too much about it. But if you think about it, if you're an HP type champion and your damage increases as your HP decreases, you're comparing this to another set more of like Savage, right? So would I take Savage over this set? Probably. Again, I don't know the specific stats on it, but if a Savage set would ignore 25% of the target's defense just innately, this, you have to be dealt damage for you to do damage, right? And there's still a chance you don't get to go because you could die. So somebody let me know in the comments below what you think about this set. Again, I haven't tried it, but I think HP type champions would benefit the most from this because they start with so much HP. I already said this isn't going to be good for attack type champion because they're just going to die. So this would be mainly for like a defensive with high HP or a HP type champion with a lot of HP. So might be good. Daze, one of the worst sets in the game. Ignore it. Same thing with this. Unless you really, really are dying for HP heal reduction, just ignore it. I only have one thing in here, probably just to kind of like, yeah, 6-star speed boots if I ever needed it. Frost set, not bad. So if you have HP type champions that have a provoke, I'm not sure off the top of my head who has that, but somebody that has provoke, this is only if you get targeted, you get to place the freeze. But again, most of the time, if you have HP that's super high, they're not going to be targeted because their AI is never going to target them because they have the most HP. So this is like a give or take. If they have provoke, yes. Or if you have a whole team that's super high HP and the lowest HP champ still has like 80,000 HP, then it might be an option. This one, 10% turn meters, 5% HP lost. This is probably a really good one. This is always good for like healers, rezzers, stuff like that, because as they take damage, they go faster and you want them to kind of cycle through their skills a lot more. So increasing turn meter is always good for support type champions or HP type champions that have support to them. Vergus, I thought he was HP, but I guess he's not. Who would be a great example? Hakun Smashlord, great example. You want him to go as much as possible because he doesn't do a lot of damage, but he's able to heal a crap ton, strip buff or debuffs, put up a block buff, sacrifice HP, but also put stun. So he could be a good example of somebody for that. Him, you just want to do damage. Miscreated Monster. As long as you have 100% crit rate with a lot of HP, it really doesn't matter for him. This guy, potentially. So increasing turn meter, doing AoE attacks for decreased accuracy, decreased attack, shield every turn. Like, these champions are ones that you want to land their skills. So wanting them to go more often is a good example of what this set could do for you. All right. So again, if you want somebody to go very fast, put them in the set with a lot of HP. Heals 15% every turn. So this is a good set. I said this in my defensive set that I'd rather have 2 sets of Immortal than 1 set of this, because 2 sets of Immortal, you're basically sacrificing 30% HP and healing 6% each turn. So you're gaining 9% every turn to heal, but you're losing 30% HP. So that's the trade-off. Again, I'd rather just have 2-piece set of this than 1 full set of this, but there are some people that could benefit strictly for this, like a Sio or a Doom Priest or something like that, but they'd probably rather go Relentless set than heals by 15% each turn. Yeah, I'm just not a huge fan of this set. Not bad, just not a fan. Immunity set, again, very good for the PvE content, or I'm sorry, PvP content, because you start off with a block buff. So if you want your HP type champion to not get debuffed, even though there isn't a debuff out there that strips HP, which is good, this is a great set for PvP. So really, I'm only focused on the set for the PvP aspect. Nobody in my PvE teams had the immunity set on them. Shield set, probably going to be hands down one of the best sets you can put on an HP type champion. Now, most of the time, HP type champions, you don't want to put shield set on unless they have over 23,000 HP, because again, the shield is going to be based off of their max HP. So they're going to scale it off of their HP. So if you're building up stats for HP and they start at 23,000, they're gonna have a lot more HP than somebody starting at 15,000. Like a lot more HP. It's almost doubling. So the percentage of your stats are going to be scaling off your base HP, and this shield set is going to be scaling off of your max HP. So the more HP that your champion has, the bigger the shield that you start with the match. It's hilarious, like when you come into a match, even like a Krisk, like those guys just start with so much shield because they scale so much off of the HP. So definitely one of the best sets to put on an HP type champion. It's almost like guaranteed to go on an HP type champion with this. Mountain King, I think he's HP, but Mountain King starts with like 31,000 HP, I think is the most in the game. Always, almost 90% of the time, you'll see him with the biggest shield in the game in PvP. Relentless set, very good. It's probably one of the best sets in the game, but you're only going to be putting this on champions that, again, same thing as the turn meter. Right here, increased turn meter, except you just strictly go again. So this is kind of better than that one, because champions like Doom Priest gets the heal twice, Sile gets the heal twice. Other champions that you want to go multiple times is going to be good for the Relentless set. Now it's an 18% chance to go again. So this is really good for attack type champions like a Rotos, because Rotos has a go again skill. So his A1, this is kind of what you're looking for Relentless. His A1 has a 25% chance of granting an extra turn. So Relentless could proc on both of these. It could proc on you hitting the A1, Relentless could proc, or he procs this and then he goes again and then Relentless could proc again. This is a perfect example of somebody that would be really good in a Relentless set because he already is taking extra turns. So that's kind of like what you're looking for that. HP type champions that may want that is somebody like this. Like he gets the heal every time he does his A1. So if he gets to go multiple times, it could be good. But most of the time, you're going to be using that Relentless set on other champions that you're going to benefit a lot more from. Right? Yeah, basically that's it. Now, getting down to Savage, again, if you want to hit really hard in PvP, you put even an HP type champion in a Savage set. And I guess a great example would be Morna Macabre. So we want him, we put him in that one. But this guy, we put in a Savage set because we want him to do as much as possible, as much damage as possible. So he actually hits really freaking hard in a Savage set because he's ignoring 25% of the defense right away. I forget, where did we move this to? I think we moved it to the Screaming Orc chick, her. So we put his Savage set on her just to kind of test out a different comp. I definitely liked it better on Gem Cursed. Gem Cursed starts with a crap ton of HP and he hits really hard. So Savage set, it's like slicing through butter. Like you just ignore the defense innately, just straight up. So this is very good if you're building a really hard-hitting PvP team. Not the greatest for PvE unless you have like an enemy max HP like a Rural Guard or a Septimus or something like that. But most of the time, it's going to be really good for the PvP content. This is good for Scarab King. That's about it. This is amazing if you have AoEs. So stun sets are very good for AoE type champions. Not a lot of our HP type champions have A1s. Let me know if there is an HP type champion with an AoE A1. I don't know if I have one or can recall one. Is she HP? Ooh, there you go. Pinkkeeper, one of the starting champions that you can get in the game. Meaning like a lot of people have her because she's very easy to pull if you have void shards. But this champion right here could be very, very good in a lot of these sets that I went over. You want her to go as much as possible, so you don't really care about her damage. So increasing damage based off of HP. Increase turn meter based off HP. Relentless set, she'd be very, very good in a relentless set, just resetting the cooldowns constantly and healing your team. She'd be really good in a lot of different sets. Stun set, potentially. She has an AoE on a 4-turn cooldown. So I don't think she'd be the best in a stun set. But what I mean is, like, HP champions, not a lot of them have AoEs on the A1. So if they do, they would be a great person for a stun set. All right, most of the time you're going to kind of skip over this one. Unless you really need it for Faction Wars. Faction Wars love stun sets. So if you're having trouble in Faction Wars and you have an HP type champion, you might be able to throw a stun set on them. Test it out. 75% chance. This is really only used for unkillable teams, for the clan boss. You can skip over. This potentially could be good because if you want them to target you, you need to have a provoke up because they're not really going to target you because you're going to have the most HP. So 30% chance of placing a provoke debuff. Again, on AoEs are great. That's really it. So if you get an AoE and you get the chance to provoke everybody, this could be a good thing for Faction Wars, PvE, stuff like that. 45% chance to counterattack when hit with a critical. Not the best one in the game for HP type champion. This is very good. So Stalwart say you're going to put a lot on the HP type champions in Doom Tower 120 for the Dragon, Eternal Dragon. You kind of need this set. This is going to be such a key set to start saving up for that because you're ignoring 30% of the damage taken from AoE hits. So if you have a ton of HP on your entire team, like almost all of them are HP type champions, you can run all of them in these sets and you're just taking so much less damage from his attacks. 30% less damage per AoE hit, which is a lot because sometimes he hits twice, 2 times in a row. 40% chance to reduce random skill cooldown. I said this is one of the best sets for Bad Alcazar, because this is only good for people that have like 2 skills, potentially 3 skills. But what it does is, like, let's say we go to Bad Alcazar and he only has 2 skills. So it is a chance to reset one of these skills. So since he only has really one that is a cooldown, you're almost always going to be resetting that skill. So 3 turn goes down to 2 turn, which then he gets the proc again. Like it happens so many times. So anybody that has a like I guess this, or what HP champion is like 4, like he would be a good one, but really you don't really care about this proccing multiple times. Again, 4 turn, 3 turn, yeah. So it's not the best, but again, that's kind of what it's for. It's to reduce these cooldowns, but it's a random. So you don't know if it's going to reduce this one or it's going to reduce this one. So that's your call on that one. I don't really use it a lot. I don't have a lot of them. I would skip over this one. You don't really need the attack. This one, definitely one of the best sets you can get for AC HP type champion. Anything with extra HP is kind of what you're looking for. If you just go, like most of my HP type champions have 2 or 3 sets of these, like almost guaranteed every single time. You get 30% extra HP with 2 of these. So let's just do the base HP, right? So if we have 23, basically 23,000, and we times that by 0.3, you're basically giving him an extra 7,000 HP just with 2 sets of these. So with you just equipping, not even like these stats, but you're basically like, this would go up to 80% essentially. That's what you're doing. Is like this goes up to an extra 30 because you have 2 sets, so it's 15 times 2, that's 30% extra HP. That is huge for an HP type champion, right? So these sets are definitely probably number 2 or number 3 of the best sets you could put on an HP type champion, and you get them every single day from the clan boss. So you're going to be having a lot, getting rid of the ones that you don't really need a lot because you're going to stack up really quick, but these are going to be the best ones to put on an HP type champion. Skip over this. This is if you need really damage. And these are better than the other ones because if you put this on attack type champion, their shield is not going to be that much. But if you put this on a HP type champion, imagine them starting with a 15% HP shield for 3 turns. So if you have a champion, let's say Miscreated Monster, put one of these on him. He has 40, 50, 60, like 70k times 0.15. So he basically has 11,000 HP shield every time he starts a turn, just with that little 15% HP. So this, again, could be good, but also this one is even better. So 15% HP and 15% shield for 3 turns. So this is a very good set to put on HP type champions because every single time they start the wave in PvE, they're going to have a shield. If you want to stack this up, 30% shields every single turn. But if you want to be friendly, just put a shield set on them so everybody gets a shield. 30% of their HP. So this is if you want to just be, if you just need it for one person, or the HP shield, you can put on everybody. Same thing right here. So these 3 are all putting a shield on you. It really just depends on what stats you need up front. So do you need speed, do you need HP, or do you need crit rate? This is, again, one of the best sets in the game. I have it on our Macabre just because I don't want him to die. So it's a 50% chance to proc unkillable, and I want him to really get hit a lot so he can proc his Peril skill. But that's about it. That's the only reason I have the Swift Parry set on this type champion. But you get speed, crit damage, and 50% proc unkillable. That's really PvP. A lot is mainly for used for. This one I think would be really good on HP type champions. 20% HP, right? 20% defense, and 25% chance to deflect 1 debuff onto the attacker. So any HP type champions that are good in PvP, I think this will be very, very good for them to kind of stack some standard buffs, as well as deflecting any debuffs that are being tried to put on. I like this set right here. Not a lot of people do, but it just gives you an extra 10% HP with the defense. So let's say you're slacking on a little bit of defense and you don't want to just put on the Immortal set. Throw this set on. It's a 2-piece set, but it gives you a little bit of defense as well. So Clan Boss, you need defense. Most of the time, PvP, you need kind of a little bit of defense, so you don't just get one-shotted because of HP type champions. So this could help out if you just need 2, like you have a 4 set, and then you just need a little 2-piece set to throw on top of that. This is very good. This is the same as the accuracy set up top, except you have 5% extra speed. So I love this set. This is actually a forging set. Same with this one. But if you really need the accuracy on most of these HP champions, especially for faction wars, stuff like that, this is a good set to kind of throw on them. And just throw like, HP percentage glove, HP percentage chest. All of these can get HP. That's what's cool about it, is like every single one of these I think can get HP percentage, and these 3 can get HP percentage main stats. But all of them can get HP percentage secondary stats, which is great. Crit damage, 20% chance. I don't really use this that much. I wouldn't really farm for this. But this is a very good PvP set because you get the extra 40 resistance. I said I love resistance in PvP, especially you have an HP type champion like a Mountain King. If you have a Mountain King with a shield set with a ton of resistance, he's literally almost unkillable. Like he is so good with immunity, shield set, resistance, HP. Like it's just so hard to kill him. Attack and crit rate, I would ignore this. And this is the same as the Frost set up top. It's only a 2-piece set. Has a chance to prevent Frost, like freeze, but you also have a chance to place freeze if you're attacked. So again, you're not really going to be targeted unless you have the lowest HP, but this is okay to try if you have any provoked champions that you want to test it out on. So again, I think going from top to bottom, it would be the shield set would be number 1 for HP type champions. Then it would be the Immortal set for HP type champions. And then really whatever set you're specifically using that person for. Like again, I have an HP champion that has Swift Parry. I have an HP type champion with Savage. I have an HP type champion that just has Stalwart, and HP type champion that has, where's my monster? Just this, right? 2 immortal sets, 1 more just for an extra speed, but 2 immortal sets, could go 3 immortal sets, and this isn't even the best gear, but he has 70,000 without even trying, right? I think the biggest HP I had was on Hakorn Smash Lord. He's at 86,000, not really fully geared. he's got a lot of DPS gear, but he's at 71,000. He had around 80 something thousand, but Hakorn Smash Lord was over around 95,000 HP because of all the HP gear that we had on him, and he had a lot of resistance as well. So really good HP type champion. But I said I'm kind of leaning more towards HP type champions as some of my favorite champions. I know defensive is very, very good, but if you get an HP type champion, don't feel sad because some of them aren't really looked at as the best champions, but on my account, we try and make them the best champions. So hopefully this helped you out, guys. There's a quick guide on HP type champions that you can use in the game and what gear you should be investing into and kind of what stats you're looking for that. So depending on where you need them, you're either going to go crit rate, crit damage, or HP on the chest piece. So let me know in the comments below if I missed anything. What champions are you thinking about gearing up that's HP type champions? What's your favorite HP type champions? If you guys aren't subscribed, hit the subscribe. We just hit 1,000 subs, so appreciate all the DirtBags from the DirtBag Nation. We're giving away an account on June 1st, so whenever you're watching this, you got to watch the video, hit subscribe, go to Discord because that's where we're giving them away. We got the DirtBag Nation clan boss or clan team going. Clan versus clan. So if you aren't joined on that, join Discord and ask how you get there. We're on Ultra Nightmare. We're starting a second clan once we get the free-to-play account up and running. So guys, appreciate it. Thanks for clicking on the video. Good luck with everything, and we will see you in another video soon.